Today I'm in Randolph, Minnesota, and we are going to go down Dixie Avenue. So I'm going to show you what we find along the road, and we're going to go all the way down, follow it all the way to the Cannon River. So there's lots of history on this road. Most of it pertains to the Chicago Great Western, some of it the Milwaukee Road, but for the most part, mainly the Chicago Great Western. And just to give you an idea where we are, if I got my helper with me, my wife Diane, just kind of pan to your right, and that's the Historical Society over there. And that's one of the places they start at. You've followed most of my videos, you know that. So I kind of go on the internet and I look at different places to get information, and I always wind up at a Historical Society. So I'm going to give them credit right off, because every picture you see today came from the Randolph Area Historical Society. So I'm going to hop in my truck and we're going to take a ride down. And I think the first thing we're going to see is where the first depot was built. And the second one is up in this other direction, but we'll save that for another day, because we're going to just cover everything on Dixie Avenue. And then from there we're going to find where the old trestle was removed, and then we're going to head down and we're going to see one of the pits from the Butler Brothers Construction Company. They had 3 pits in town, and we're going to look at I think what was the third one. And then we'll be down at the Cannon River, and we might even walk some railroad bed. So let's go to the truck and head down. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to put up is a map of where I'm at, so you can see where I'm at. And you can see the layout of the railroad tracks, because that's really important in this one to know where this depot was. And this depot goes back to the Chicago Great Western. They built both of these depots back in the day. So I don't have a build date on this, but it had to be going back to maybe 1882, 1883, in that area. So I'll put up that map and then I'll get situated and show you where that stuff was. So right about where you see these telephone poles was another railroad track that was in here, and it paralleled the one that you see here and ran across in here in this area. So there was 2 tracks paralleling each other, and that's what you're going to see in this photo. And then the other track you can see from downtown ran along the back side about where that tree line is, you see there. So I'm going to plug in this picture, and right about from here you're going to see town. You can see it back there. You can see one of the elevators, and you're going to see town in this picture, and you're going to see the 2 tracks. Remember, this one in front of me is gone now, and then you're going to see the depot. It's really a cool picture. It's awesome. There she is. Say hi.
Hi.
Hi. Yeah, she's with me today. It's my helper, my camera lady, my camera guy. Yeah, she loves archaeology. So we're gonna get to a point where she can kind of walk around, and she can't dig in there, of course, but
Yeah.
if she could, she would. Okay, so we're going to just go down the road just a little bit to where the Chub, I think it's called the Chub Creek. If I'm wrong, I'll put up the right word. I think it's the Chub Creek. And we're going to see where the old trestle was when it crossed the creek. So this is the bridge over Chub Creek. And going back a couple years ago, Todd and I came down here after a railroad show in Randolph, and what we saw was that pier that you see there, or column, whatever you want to call it, and we saw those two over there, and everything was green yet, but you can see the whole, I think it's called an embankment, right down in there. And I'll give you a couple more looks at that. Okay, so here's another look at it. I think that's so cool, isn't it? And like I say, when Todd and I were here, you couldn't even see that thing because of all the growth around it. So this is where I'm at. I came down by the river, and I gotta watch these rocks. Listen to that water, isn't that relaxing? Wouldn't you like to just camp near that water? So I think we're right about, you know, we're still on the, probably the county or township property, you know, for the easement for the road. But I'm not gonna go any closer because that, I believe, is on some private property. So we're not gonna go up on the private property. So I'm going to get situated and put in a couple of pictures for it. So this first picture I'm gonna plug in would be, there's where our trestle was, going across. And this picture would be taken from about this angle, but I can't get any further to my left. So I'll plug it in from here. And you will see the trestle and town in the background and a locomotive. It's a really cool picture right there. So the last picture you saw basically the top of the trestle. This one here, you're going to see the side of the trestle. And like I say, this is running north and south. And I think it was probably right about there. And this is taken with the line running south. So this time I just walked down the street, that's where we were. But you can see the railroad bed here. It looks like you're just coming up out of the ditch, right? But that's the rail bed right up there. Right up there, and it's following the road here. Somebody's been writing on this bridge. Where's Todd when you need him? Hebrews 2:14. Okay, so we had to look up the verse. So Diane's going to say the verse.
Okay, this is from the New King James Version. Inasmuch then as the children have partaken of flesh and blood, he himself likewise shared in the same, that through death he might destroy him who had the power of death, that is, the devil.
So that's what was on that bridge.
Yeah, Hebrews 2:14.
Okay, so I'm just going real slow here. Diane's got the camera out the window. Hopefully she doesn't drop it. And that's the railroad bed right there. And, you know, when it's green out, you don't even see that. And when Todd and I were here, we didn't come down this way. Maybe we should have came down this way further. But that's railroad bed right there. And it's hard to pick it up with the camera, but there is a couple of old telephone poles or something in there. Now right here is some, if you look a little lower, you'll see some old railroad ties here. And we're just going to keep following this. Now here I see something. This looks, I don't know, what is that on the ground over there? I don't know. I'm going to go look at that.
Looks like remnants of an old telephone pole that the landowners probably put across so that nobody drives through there.
Okay, so end of journey, but yeah, I think the bed is right in here. And gee, now where is Sean when you need him? Boy, everybody's missing today. I don't know, maybe even Chris. They both collect these things. I don't know, there's a rubber cap on them or something. I don't know how old those are, but it would be nice to know. And there's another. There's some more. Telephone pole. So I don't know. The next stop is going to be at the county park. And I'm trying to figure out if there's another spur that breaks out that goes into that county park, because that is one of the Butler Brothers Construction Company's sand and gravel pits, and we're going to visit that here coming up. Okay, so there's my truck on the street, and this is blocked off, so I'm about 10 feet on the other side of this, and I'm not going to go up in there. He's blocking that off because there's a farm field or something up there, but this is a real bed for sure, I think. You can see it up here. But also this looks like rail bed here. So I'm wondering if I'm not in the area where there was a spur, and one was the main line and the other was going into the gravel pit. I'm just not sure. That's what I'm looking for. I'm trying to find a definite spur to see if a spur was in that gravel pit that we're going to go to. So I'm not going to go any further because, you know, I don't want to trespass here. But Diane was saying something here.
Look at this ridge right here.
Yeah.
And then it follows along just on the other side of these pine trees, another ridge. So I don't know if it's bed or if it's part of, you know, like the railroad cut where they would, you know, just mound up the...
That's another good question. Could this have been a cut at one time? And that's what I'm looking at, are the ridges on each side of the cut. Who can say, huh? Yeah, it's just real hard to say.
So how far would the easement be from the road?
Probably about where we're standing. Okay. Probably about where he has his blocked his driveway off. So yeah, see, I don't know what this is here. Yeah, so here you can see a definite indentation. And I know that's railroad bed back there, but I'm not sure what this is. So yeah, is this a cut, or is it two separate two separate beds. I just don't know, but maybe we'll catch it somewhere up the. So I'm following the rail bed. Now you see it back there from the street, and you can see it going behind this house. And it almost looks like it's out of place to me. And I'll show you why in a little bit. So I'm wondering if that wasn't the spur that went into the clay pit. See if there's a.
Okay, no.
Okay, right there. I don't know if you can see that survey stick back there with the red ribbon on it, but that's the railroad bed right there. Right there.
Okay.
And you'll see another one of those sticks in a second here, right here. Right there. This is all railroad bed back there. Okay, if you look, you can see that red survey stake that's back there. Just behind it, you'll see a railroad bed. Do you see it back there? Back by the fence. There's railroad bed there. Just keep the camera on. Now, I think I can see it. This is County Park. So I'm going to take a walk back there. This is County Park here. Now, right up close, about right in front of us where this tree is, that's the main line that's coming through here. So yeah, I think we found the spur. So we're going to head over here